Hello everybody, I'm Zedd, and I'm here again with your weekly update for World of Warcraft, so let's get into it. So there's been a bunch of tuning fixes and some updates with regards to the season, because they've been releasing things staggeredly, if that's a word. So we'll get into that. So firstly, on September 12th, so that was, I believe, Thursday, September 12th. Yeah, looking at a calendar, Thursday, I believe they released some hot fixes. They fixed a bug causing bosses to scale incorrectly with more players. Specifically, sorry, I meant to say in delves. And I've actually experienced a lot of issues with delves as well as everyone else has, but now I can also recall specific experiences where it just got to be just ridiculous, whether it was the scaling or the bugs. So they're really like going like changing things all across the board. They're increasing the health scaling of enemies, reducing the damage scaling. They're adjusting enemy targeting preferences in delves. Let's read their developer note. Our goal is to match difficulty of solo and group play as much as possible in delves. When looking at data in group delves, we notice unexpectedly low combat times coupled with unexpectedly high lethality. We identified the root cause of this issue and corrected it. This fix will increase the health scaling of enemies per additional player present. Oh, I guess I played after that because boy was that present. But we are also reducing the damage scaling of many abilities to compensate. Not nearly enough. One of the runs that I was in a full group with, we were decimated, and it wasn't even innate. And it wasn't due to anybody's particular negligence. It was just freaking hard. Zekfir's influence has grown stronger, introducing a new enemy variant in Delve Tier 8. Okay. Fixed an issue, we knew that already. Fixed an issue where the health bar UI could fail to display values correctly, and yeah, that was a very annoying bug. I couldn't tell if had what health I had because it just wouldn't change. And that wasn't even using LVUI. Revives remaining has changed to lives remaining. Now, anytime a player dies, the counter is reduced. Was anytime a player releases spirit. In addition, reaching a checkpoint will now provide 1 life. Oh, that sucks, man. I mean, I can understand why they're saying that because of exploits, maybe people just, dying and not releasing and completing, but still, like, that sucks that they're changing that like that, but whatever. What's their developer note? This mechanic was proving to be confusing in its functionality, making it a mistake to release spirit when playing with certain compositions. This change should make the experience more consistent regardless of group size or makeup. I guess they're saying it's supposed to be, they're making it more like Mythic Plus because that's what people are used to. Okay, if that's their reasoning, their real reasoning, and not what they're putting out there, then I guess I could buy that. And then they also wrote, following recent hot fixes to address issues in delves, we've seen a great deal of concern about enemy scaling in various situations. We've been working on additional updates delves, so they're still working on it. It's top priority, right? Okay, great. Next, related to delves, we got a brand brand bug fix and buff, which happened September 15th, which was 2 days ago, and that would make it on Sunday. Over the past several days, we've heard player reports of much variance in brand's performance and contribution in delves, and we've investigated anomalous data along those lines. We recently identified a serious bug that could, under specific circumstances, cause brand to inherit health. So basically what was happening was Bran was getting super strong while we weren't the player, and therefore Bran, I mean, he's good, but he's not as powerful as a player, and so we weren't getting as strong, right? So we've just deployed a hotfix that will correct this bug. There should now be a consistent baseline of power for Bran, which will increase your own gear with your own gear and with his level. Oh, let me read that again. There should be now a consistent baseline of power for Bran, which will increase with your own gear. Aha, I didn't that must be something new they're adding. Okay, that would help. So some specs whose gameplay tended towards hanging back and letting Bran take the lead were much more likely to trigger the bug than others, so for those players, we understand this could make Brand feel significantly weaker than he has, especially in the highest tier delves. Speaking as an MM hunter, yeah, that's gonna be painful. Because, yeah, he was taking some of the brunt for me, and it was helping a lot. So this is gonna suck for me. We've also seen feedback that unbugged Bran felt much less impactful than we'd hoped. Oh yeah, I can vouch for that. Therefore, along with the bug fix we've hot fixed, they're using these words so loosely and ridiculously, in my opinion. Therefore, along with the bug fix, we've hot fixed Bran to increase his damage and healing by 125% across all tiers. Now, does that mean by an additional 125% or a total of 125%, meaning an additional 25%? I don't know. Right? We will continue to monitor your feedback, blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine. So they've made changes to Brand, they've made changes to Delve. I feel like this thing's going to continue to change and evolve. No, this is out of place. I wanted to go here. Right. So, and we'll get then to the Mythic Plus and Race the World first stuff. So, hot fixes on September 6th, yesterday, on Monday. So, classes, there were some hot fixes to Death Knights. The Rider of the Apocalypse Conquest now correctly modifies total strength, modifies base strength. Okay, that seems like a pretty good buff. Very strong buff, actually. Settling, whatever, if you pronounce that, visceral strength now correctly modifies total strength, modifies base strength. Man, Death Knights are getting a strong buff. That is a strong buff, because if you're saying your base is, let's say, 500, but then all your gear and all your items and everything else, you get 10,000. If it modifies that, that is a crazy buff. That's going to make them too strong, I think. They're going to have to nerf it something, I bet, but we'll see. Bloodied Blade now correctly modifies total strength, base strength. Okay. Mage fixed an issue that caused Frostfire Bolt to consume ice flows when instant cast from Frostfire Empowerment. Okay. I don't really play Mage, so especially not Frost. Paladin Holy fixed an issue where Light of the Martyr to grant a larger absorb than expected from level scaling. Okay. That's a debuff. Rogue Deathstalker corrected an issue where singular focus was not scaling legacy content. Okay. Subtlety, they fixed another bug for combo points. Warlock Ritual of Doom summoned Doomguard damage reduced by 90%. Developer's note: while sacrificing your friends can be entertaining, we'd prefer it not to be the optimal means to play. We've decreased the throughput of Ritual Doom to ensure that Warlocks don't need to pay such a hefty tithe to perform optimally. Wow. Well, I don't play Warlock, but for all you Warlocks out there, Delves. Oh, more hot fixes to Delves than we talked about? Developer notes: we've been closely monitoring progress in delves, and we've seen that the median time to complete a delve at higher tiers has been longer than we'd like for the majority of classes. We'll continue to evaluate what might be needed to maintain difficulty across tiers while also shaping the overall time that delves take to complete. Okay. I mean, yeah, sometimes they can go like 1, 2, 3. Sometimes they take forever. It's good they have the data, though. Reduced the health of bosses, lieutenants, and rares, and unique objective creatures. That's good. So wait, this was yesterday. Okay, so everything we just read about the 12th on Thursday, pretty much at the door then. Fixed a bug that could make Brand much stronger than intended. Okay, they did talk about that. Increased Brand's damage and healing by 125%, but we don't know what that means really. Increased Brand's damage reduction so that he takes 80% less damage. Oh, that's good. But he's not going to be taking as much hits, though. So, Earthcrawl Mines. Lower the difficulty of enemies attacking players during the wave defense portion. Okay. I mean, that wasn't too terrible. The boss in that one was really hard for me personally. Craigvall's Rest lower the size of ambush groups. The Waterworks lower the size of ambush groups. Lower the size of specific spawn groups throughout the map to 3. Was 6 or 7, okay. Fixed an issue where Pagsley and Karnk would not spawn if a player died while in a group, okay. Dungeons and Raids. Nerubar Palace. Ugrax the Devourer fixed an issue that allowed Hungering Bellows to be mitigated by physical resistance effects. Reduce the damage of Hungering Bellows by 15%. I don't feel like I'm very qualified to talk about the rating. I've only done 2 bosses in LFR. Side note, not unrelated, but I've been playing a lot Once Human. It's amazing, that game. It may become my main game. And if so, we'll see TBD about the weekly resets. But for now, I'm continuing. Items, fixed an issue where Radiant Echoes were not dropping for some players. Professions, engineering. Okay, they added some things there. Bug fixes. Nothing that big of a deal. Achievements, player will now earn the achievement Harbinger of the Weathered, Harbinger of the Carved, Harbinger of the Ruined immediately upon outgrowing the use of those crests. Okay. Demon Hunter, Vengeance, Shattered Souls, missiles will no longer display for allies. Druid Feral, fixed the bug. Evoker, Devastation, fixed an issue where that. Let's see, something impactful. Paladin Ret, an issue causing Empyrean Hammer to not function on training dummies has been resolved. That is so impactful. God. Let's see, Shaman, all little bug fixes. Oh, that's not little though. They make it sound little. For example, fix an issue causing Mastery Elemental Overload to not increase damage from all pets. Okay, delves again, more delves. Okay, there's gonna be so much changes in delves until it's finally at a good spot. Addressed scaling issues causing enemies and delves to deal more damage than intended, especially for groups and tanks. Developer notes. Over the last day, we've sought to address the unintended circumstance where certain group compositions made the health... Oh, only certain group compositions, okay, made the health of enemies lower than they would be if you went into a delve by yourself. I guess if you had, like, you know, all healers or something. Maybe, I don't know, or all tanks. Yeah, especially for groups and tanks, maybe. I don't know. We also tried moving some of the harder affixes from appearing in Tier 9 and above into Tier 8. The results were not what we had hoped for. We have now brought enemy damage back down closer to our targets. The most difficult affixes have been sent back to Tier 9. The scaling adjustments should make group and solo play less lethal. Nightfall Sanctum resolved an issue where players could get stuck in combat after dying to Speaker Davenroth. The Underkeep reduced Crazed Abomination's health. Okay. The Waterworks, wax faces through wax damage done reduced by see, about 15%. What is this like about? Like the tilde there, that means like approximately. I mean, how are you so precise everywhere else and here it's just nitpick, but still, I don't know. Whatever. Whackface should not immediately begin casting a new spell upon completion of Noxious Gas. Okay, so I guess they're making the boss a little easier. And then some dungeon and raid stuff. Nerubar Palace. When in the Silken Court, when Binding Webs is broken by immunity, it will now correctly remove from ally, and it will no longer falsely appear connected. Okay, triggering intermissions while a boss is stunned will no longer cause a new Barash or Takaz to stay during the other's intermission, if that's how you pronounce it. Events Awakening the Machine address the issue causing the awakened phalanx to become stuck in an attackable state. Items and rewards. Class items purchased with web-wrapped curio or mark the Spelunker Supreme should now be refundable. Fixed a bug where reaching Renown rank 11 with the Council of Dornagal was not presenting a quest with carved Harbinger crest as a reward. Okay. Warbound until equipped gear obtained from seasonal legacy dungeons should now have correct item levels. This fix is retroactive. Cool. Quests. Okay. They fixed some issues. This is just a recap of everything else that came before. So we already read the December 12th and everything, right? In previous posts they wrote, yeah. Okay, so we can ignore this part. All right, next one. Feel like we read this part already. Yeah, I think so. They're just adding it into one long thing. Okay, items tuning incoming today during scheduled weekly maintenance on September 7th. Right, today. We will adjust items that have been over and underperforming in the first few days of the War Within Season 1. Our goal is to get these changes out ahead of the first gear vaults of the season to lower the impact on players' gearing journey. So let's see, there's a list here, probably mostly trinkets. Primary stat reduced by 15, absorb increased by 15, primary stat increased by 5, absorb increased by 20. Effects increase. Yeah, so basically just a bunch of tunings. If you've gotten already your hard to believe you could get your BIS trinkets on the right track to get to the highest tier and all that BIS stuff. But if you did, then this is the page you want to look at for to know if you got nerfed or buffed. So likely if it's a BIS, generally speaking, it would normally get nerfed, but this might change meta a little bit. I don't know. Our intent is to do these itemization tuning passes rarely, usually within the first week or so of a patch, and then take a more hands-off approach with room for follow-up a few weeks after, if any extreme outliers still exist unaddressed. We've received feedback about the inconsistency in performance across delves trinkets as a whole, and we will look to address them in a larger delve-specific itemization sweep in the coming weeks. Oh, because this wasn't a large enough delve sweep? Oh, I see. Class tuning. So we've already seen some hot fixes, but this is more tuning. So for Death Knight, Vampiric Strike chance to trigger increased to 25%. So buff. So basically, DKs, I believe last week they also got buffed. So they're getting buffed again. Demon Hunter Havoc. Yep. Fixed an issue that caused I-beams damage to reduce beyond one target instead of 5. That will be nice for AoE. Benefiting from isolated praise damage. That prevented it from... Okay, so basically I-beam should be doing more damage now. Druid balance all ability increased by 6%. Star Surge by 16. Yeah, so druids are getting buffed. Feral no longer increases the damage of rampant ferocity. Developers on responsive feedback that this change reduced the value of maintaining RIP and complicated using Blood Talons in AoE. We are reverting this change. Well, I have one word to say in response. RIP. All ability damage increased by 3%. RIP damage increased by 6%, 3%, 10%. So buffs across the board, okay? Disintegrate increased. Okay, mages are getting nerfed. Arcane, which was doing insane arcane blast damage, reduced by 5. Arcane missile reduced by 8. Meteorite damage reduced by 15, reduced by 20, reduced by 20. So nerfed the arcane. Okay. Fire everything by 6. Living bomb increased by... I feel like Blizzard just wants people to play fire mage and that's it. That's what their idea of a mage is. Whatever. This was like the one time that I can remember that arcane was actually doing really, really, really good. But maybe that will no longer be. Maybe it won't matter. Who knows? Monk, Mistweaver, all healing increased. Okay, increased. So buffed. Yep, buffed. Pally, Holy, all healing reduced by 6. Does not affect PvP combat. Judgment damage increased by 60%. Wow. So they're getting pretty much buffed across the board. Priest damage buff. Outlaw Rogue, all ability damage reduced by 4%. Debuff. Melee auto attack damage reduced by 8. Dispatch damage reduced by 10. Well, sucks to be a rogue then. Enhancement, all ability damage increased by 4. So Shammies are getting buffed. Warlocks are getting buffed. We already talked about the Doomguard thing. And Warrior, Colossus Mountain of Muscle and Scars increases damage by 5 was 4. Dealt, Colossus damage dealt by demolishes 2 initial strikes increased by 20%. Mountain Thane, Thunder Blast, Lightning Strikes, and Ground Current damage increased by 6%. And Arms, Blade Storm damage reduced by 10%. Oh. Fury, all ability damage reduced. What? Blade Storm reduced. Odin Fury reduced. Mountain Thane, Strength and Mountain increases Bloodthirst and Rampage damage by 20%. Okay. I mean, who knows why they're doing these different tunings in the different ways. PvP, a whole bunch of tunings. I'm not going to go too deep into the PvP. It's a whole nother world that I don't really know that much about. Added the following. Arcane Blast damage reduced further. It wasn't enough. They had to just go and keep blasting mages. Okay. So now dungeon affixes, since now the season 1 is really fully started. You can do different levels of Mythic Plus. We're currently working on some updates to dungeon encounters that we'll implement before Mythic Plus gets underway. Mists of Tyrniskythe. Mist Caller addresses an issue where Dodgeball was inflicting damage to unintended targets. And then for the raid, stun duration of the erupting webs reduced by 3 seconds instead of 6. So that's nice. Damage reduced by 18%, and Grasping Blood is now susceptible to interrupt effects. Okay. Siege of Borealis. Players can now use both Alliance and Horde Portal to enter the dungeon. So how do you choose? I don't know. Leaving Siege of Borealis now puts players at the correct exit location based on their faction. Jaina Proudmoore now teleports players to the correct exit location based on their factions. I guess you talk to them. There's an NPC to talk to, maybe? I don't know. Chopper Red Hook added various visual improvements for the encounter. Dawnbreaker, there is now a worn anvil to repair next to a Arathi Lamplighter on the Dawnbreaker. Okay. Now, the last piece of news we've got for today is the Race to World First in Nerubar Palace. So, the Race to World First for Mythic is going to be amongst the top guilds. So, they're promoting here Liquid, which won, I think. Well, I know they won season 1 or 2. I don't know. They did really well in Shadowlands. And I think also in Dragonflight, although I've been kind of out of it a little bit, so I'll try to keep a little more eye on it. But Liquid, Echo, and Method, those are the 3 top names of esports in WoW, whether it's raiding or Mythic Plus or otherwise. I mean, the PvP, the AWC, that's really more just people, but you know, they do also do PvP for sure. And then there's going to be additional coverage, obviously, on all these different sites, from Blizzard Watch to Method, Raider.io, Wowhead, etc. So, that is pretty much it. Oh, one thing I wanted to see is let's take a look at Raider.io and see who are the teams competing. So this is where you'd go if you wanted to kind of see what the situation is with the Race to the World First. So, you've even got a Race to World First analyzer. I don't even know what that is. But right now they've got Liquid, Echo, and Method. But usually they've also got like a bracket or a tier or something. Raids, Nerubar Palace. Global coverage. This is just going to take me back here. Yeah. I'm sure there's somewhere, or maybe just because it hasn't started, perhaps. Leaderboard. Top 10 guilds in the world. Yeah, okay. I guess just because maybe nobody, since obviously it's after the reset's going to start, there hasn't been any data yet. So, but this is where you would come to once it gets started after the reset. You'll come here, click Race the World first, and you'll be able to see where the guilds are holding. It looks like they've done a better job. They now have how many pulls, their eye level, probably average, best percentage, etc. So it'll be exciting. So with that, this is going to be it for the weekly reset. So hopefully this was informative. Please feel free to like the video if you thought it was good, and if you have any feedback for me, any thoughts, anything at all that I can improve, or just you want to say hi, please, feel free to put a comment below, and I will see you, I guess, in the next one. Thank you very much, and I wish you a blessed week, and may the Lord of RNGesus bless you with your vault this week.